Giant Opinion Sports here, and this is my second part of the best safeties in the draft. After I watch the film, I can envision how the player plays and their strengths. I forget a bunch. I forget a bunch of stuff just off the top of my head. So I'm gonna read off my notes so I get everything out there, and you can kind of get an idea of how I feel about the player as I'm watching him. So today I'm starting with Jeremy Chin. I hear a lot of guys a lot of people talking about him, and he's getting some major hype. And there's good reason. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 6'3", 220, and for his size, it's kind of a natural. He ran a 4.45, and he's very strong too. He put up 20 on the bench press, had a 41 vertical. I mean, he's just an athletic guy. I mean, he's a big. So what I had wrote about him is he's a big guy, very long, plenty of speed, powerful, good at shedding blocks. That was what I initially saw about him. But then when I started breaking down the film a little bit more, I see the chin. I wrote chin sees and reacts. You don't anticipate very well. So they played him back a lot more in coverage. But what you could tell is he just, if he's eyeing the quarterback, he's not really seeing how the play is going to progress. He sees the guy in front of him and reacts to that. Or if he sees somebody catch the ball somewhere, he'll see it and react. He's not really seeing the plays develop. So I also wrote here, can get lost in coverage, not great at reading the quarterback. Well, that's kind of just what I was getting into. But he misses gaps from time to time. He needs coaching. Um, when he reads the quarterback, he loses track of nearby wide receivers. Good on the blitz, decent on moving around through traffic. Wraps up his tackles most of the time, can throw a shoulder occasionally. And there was a few plays that I had seen through the games I watched where he put a shoulder on somebody directly and just wrecked them. But he mostly wraps up, I'll say that. Um, so I had wrote, I just can't trust him in coverage. And takes good angles of the ball carrier most of the time. Occasionally he'll try and cheat, and he will, miss his lane. But I really hits with good impact. So his best traits are downhill attacking, and his body is definitely NFL ready. Um, the games I watched, he didn't really make a huge impact, but a move. See, I think they should move him down to linebacker because he's so good around through traffic and his tackling. A move to linebacker would involve him a lot more, just by bringing him closer to the line of scrimmage, where his game I think would translate a lot better to the pros. His team always played him way back, and it was kind of hard to watch because you could tell he's very talented. Now, as for a Giants perspective, we really don't need a player like this. If we'd already had a free safety or a good slot corner or something for the defense, I would definitely, because he would just be awesome as a safety in a box. I would definitely take him. Um, I think he's worth a second round pick, um, probably around the middle to end for a team that could need a strong safety. Like I said, over time, I think if he gained 10, 15 pounds, he could definitely make a move to an outside linebacker. All right, so next I looked at Ashton Davis. And Ashton is 6'1", 202 pounds. I don't think he bench pressed or any of that. But for what I wrote for him is he's a good tackler, willing to run the box and mix it up. He's got very good hands, did a good job on two passes, doesn't panic when the ball's in the air, and times contact with receivers. Bad habit of not wrapping up sometimes, chasing. Choosing. Oops, excuse me. Bad habit of not wrapping up sometimes, choosing rather to try to punch the ball out. That was kind of aggravating. He's used to being lined up all over. I believe they line him up a little bit like money backer at each safety spot. Good range and deep coverage. Can lose wide receivers and reading the quarterback occasionally. Um, so I watched the game against Ole Miss, and I'd say he struggled to contain on read option. The quarterback was just torturing him. He's also always around the play on runs up the middle in his area. Yeah, he was piling up on every run near him. He's a pretty crafty guy, smart player, needs coaching, and having him play just one position should help. That's what I would like for him. That's what I would like for Ashton Davis. Just put him at free safety because that's where he should be. Or even you could bring him in a nickel and put him at center field. Great center fielder. I wouldn't mind him there. But his best trait is his athleticism and timing contact on pass plays. He was really good at that. He'd hit just as the ball got there, and he'd lodge it. He'd lodge it loose. Um, Pick 36, for Giants' perspective, is a little early, but I wouldn't cry about it because I think with Ashton, you could put him in a free safety, and that would free up Love to go down the slot. Um, with the right system or coaching, I think he should be a starting free safety. I think give him a year, um, maybe a year and a half now with all the setbacks, but I believe that Ashton Davis will be a starting free safety in the NFL. Um, if he makes it to the third round, I'd be surprised. He makes it to the third round, somebody's going to get an amazing deal. And next player I looked at was Terrell Burgess. He is 5'11", 202 pounds, but this guy's lightning quick. He's like a little bunny rabbit. I believe in the combine he ran up, yeah, 4.45. Right off the bat, I noticed he was a smart guy and he knows where he's supposed to be. Did a good job at reading misdirection play. He don't get froze very often. Very patient. Undersized. He is undersized. Not very long at all. That's probably be a problem for him in his whole career. But he was using the box almost like an extra linebacker. Some might call it the money backer. Barely ever played deep. Um, he covered a tight end and wide receiver on his side and did okay for his limitations and size. Can miss on a jam and leave himself trailing in coverage. And that's the problem. He's going to have to work on that. But I imagine in the NFL he won't be so much using that money backer role. He won't be jamming people, I don't think. I'd imagine they keep him back a little bit further. He seems to feel good, reads the quarterback well, can be overpowered by ball carriers sometimes. I did see him, a couple of his tackles got broken and he got overpowered by running backs and receivers and can go too low on tackle attempts. Just not wrapping up, diving at ankles, things I don't like to see from linebackers, and I know it drives coaches crazy. But his best trait is intelligence. He's smart, just knowing his role and being where he should be, helping other players be where helping other players know where they should be, and that's more of a big help than you think in football. But he really needs to bulk up. He's 202 pounds, but he just looks small. He's a compact little guy, so he does need to. Just he needs to really work on his tackling. At this point, his tackling is like a D NFL wise, and he just needs to. I imagine the coaches will be on his ass about that when he gets drafted. So he played mostly. I have some other things written down here. He played mostly man coverage, but I really liked how he read the quarterback. In the few plays I saw, he was able to sit back in his zone. Yeah, I really do think he could be a good in zone. So I over time, I'd like to get him back a little bit deeper, and I think he'd be good in nickel sets. Um, I also wrote, he don't have elite speed, but it's good enough. I wish Utah would have used him deep more. 'Cause from the tape I saw, I'd have to say he's an undersized, strong safety that can cover a little. Okay, so moving on. The last guy I want to do, I'm done. I'm done watching tape on the safeties because Brandon Jones out of Texas. Oh my God, this guy was just boring, boring 3 4 hours of my life. But anyways, Brandon Jones is 5'11", right around 200 pounds. So I wrote on here. He dives a lot. He dives at a lot of ball carriers' legs. Not a great tackler. So right off the bat, I really wasn't into watching him. And Texas used him mostly in coverage, and they never really brought him down the press at all either. I noticed it was always off coverage, always the same defense. Over and over again, I watched him dive at people's ankles and just miss. Um, so I also had wrote here, I wouldn't trust him at center field. Slow or average to react. Good getting his head turned around in coverage. That was one thing I noticed on the deeper balls. He did actually get turned around, try and contest some balls. But he's not the fastest guy, so he had trouble. So he was still, getting catched on. But does get beat, man, quite a bit. I wrote very boring. So yeah, I was actually writing it was boring in my notes. So he played in a different position, played in different positions, but mostly coverage and all of that. Yeah, so they'd move him around money back or maybe put him a little bit like half deep safety, but it was always the same boring off coverage. I kind of felt sorry for him because he never really probably got a chance to really see what he could improve in or what he's best at. It seemed more like they're a scheme a scheme to defense, and I just don't like them kind of defenses. Defenses should be more based around like what makes their players. You like kind of like we hear from Joe Judge, what their strength is, and then you build your defense on that. It was a totally schemed defense, and it's horrible. Um, they face good quarterbacks. That defense would get tore up. By the way, I'm sorry to Texas fans who even have to watch that shit every Saturday. So I'd also wrote didn't get many opportunities to rush the passer, but he actually did well when he got an opportunities. Yeah, out of the 4 games I watched, I think maybe I've seen him rush the quarterback twice. I think both times. He was productive in that. Best trait. It's hard to be as boring as he is. I don't know how he don't fall asleep on the field. So I don't know if that's a trait, but that's what I had wrote. I think in the middle of watching him, I went and got a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and almost fell asleep myself. So I wrote Jones is average in every way. It's kind of impressive how average he is. There you go, impressive. But I'm not a huge fan of Jones. I mean, I think he was left in coverage mostly because the team didn't want him to be exposed in his tackling. I just think he's a really poor tackler. And again, I really feel bad for the fans of Texas that had to deal with their horrible team scheme. And probably going to feel bad for whoever drafts Brandon Jones because I just don't think he's an NFL player. I think he's a backup at best. You could bring him in some nickel dime situations, but he's going to get beat up in coverage. I wish I had better things to say about him, but that's it for me. This is it for me in the safeties. I've already spent days watching safeties, and I am done. And this video is done. So it's a Giant Peanut Sports. And if you made it this far, thank you so much. Hit the bell for all my other videos coming up. Stay safe, folks.